Hello everyone. My name is Vodha Rahul. 19BC 1425 is my registration number. This is my machine learning digital assignment 2. Today I'll be discussing about what is a priori algorithm in machine learning and how we will run this a priori algorithm using RapidMiner software. So coming to a priori algorithm, this algorithm was given by R. Agarwal and Srikant in the year 1994. The a priori algorithm uses frequent item sets to generate the association rules, mm, and it is designed to work on the databases which contain transactions like a market basket data analysis. So, with the help of these association rules, it determines how strongly or weakly two objects are connected. This algorithm uses a breadth first search and hash tree to calculate the item set associations effectively. It is the iterative process for finding the frequent item sets from the large data set. It is mainly used for, as I told before, market basket analysis, and it helps to find those products that can be brought together. It can also be used in the healthcare field to find the drug reaction for patients. What are the reactions of the individual drugs for the patients, respective patients? So market basket analysis is one of the key techniques used by the large retailers to uncover the association between items. So they can read the customer's mind. If a customer is willing to buy this product, so with respect to that product, what a customer is also willing to buy, they can read the minds of the customers by using this. So the a priori algorithm generates the association rules by using the frequent item sets. Its principle is simple. The subset of the frequent item set would also be subset of frequent item set would also be frequent item set. So now we'll be discussing about what is a frequent item set. Frequent item sets are those items whose support is greater than the threshold value or user specified a minimum support. So this means if A and B are the frequent items together, then individually A and B should also be the frequent item set. As I told before here, the subset of frequent item set would also be the frequent item set. So mathematically, we'll be discussing an example in sets. So set A contain 1, 2, 5 and B contain 2, 3, 7. As 2, 3 are common in the A and B sets, so 2, 3 are the frequent item sets. To better understand the a priori algorithm, it is recommended to understand the association rule mining first. So we'll be discussing about what is association rule. The association rule learning is a type of unsupervised learning techniques that checks for the dependency of one data item on another data item, and it also maps accordingly so that it can be more profitable. It tries to find some interesting relations or associations among the variables of data sets. Now we'll be discussing about a priori algorithm. These are the four steps for the a priori algorithm. First step is determining the support of item sets in the transaction database and selecting the minimum support and confidence. First, we'll select the minimum support and minimum confidence interval. So next step is taking all supports in the transaction with the higher support value than a minimum or a selected support value. So the step three is finding all rules of the subsets that have a higher confidence value than a threshold or a minimum confidence value. The last step is sorting the rules as the decreasing order of the list. So now we'll be discussing about the working of our a priori algorithm. So we'll be understanding this working using mathematical calculation. So this is the problem given. For example, suppose we have the following data set that has various transactions. From this data set, we need to find the frequent item sets and generate the association rules using a priori algorithm. This is the diagram figure given. So they initially given minimum support value as 2 and minimum confidence interval as 50%. The first step will be calculating C1 and L1. C1 is the candidate set and L1 is the frequency item set. So in this step, we'll create a table that contains the support count. Support count is the frequency of each item set individually occurring in the data set. Of each item set in the given data set. This is called candidate set, as I told before, or C1. So this is the item set and support count. We will fix the support count values as occurring of each item in the data set as given. So we'll see here A. For A, they're given a support count as 6. So how we took this 6? A is occurring here in 6 times. So in T1, T1 and T5, T7, T8, T9. So 6 times it is occurring. T4, T5, yeah. And B is occurring 7 times in the given data set. So like this will be giving the values of for the support count. Now we will take out the item sets that have greater support count than minimum support count 2. That is given in the question. Minimum support count is 2. So it will give us the table for the frequency item set L1. Since all item sets have greater or equal support count than the minimum support count, except E. E is having 1. 1 is less than 2. So we'll remove E value. And now we'll modify the support count table. So this we will get a support count table. And now step 2. We'll generate C2 and L2. We will generate C2 with the help of previously L1 values. In C2, we will create the pair of the item sets of L1 in the form of subsets. After creating the subset, we will again find the support count from the main transaction table of our data set. How many times these pairs have occurred in the given data set. So we will get the below table as C2. We will get, as mentioned, it is C2. So we will take two sets occurring AB, AC, AD, like that. We'll take up to C and D. All combinations of occurring of two sets. AB. AB has occurred 4 times as according to here. We will check. AB has occurred in T1 and T4, T8, T9, 4 times. So same as AC also 4 times. Now we will check for BD. As it is different value, we'll check for B and D. B and D occurred in T2 and T4. That's it. So its value is given as 2. And CD didn't occur a single occurrence, so it is given as 0. So we need to compare the C2 support count with the minimum support count. And after comparing this, the item set with less support count will be eliminated from the table C2. It will give us below in the table. After comparing the 0 is less than 2. So we'll remove the 0 CD. We'll get these values as support count. Next is step 3. Step 3 is C3. We'll find C3 and L3. As it is C3, we will combine all the set of 3 occurrences. So we will repeat the same 2 process, but now we will form the C3 table with the subset of 3 item sets together, and we'll calculate the support count of the from the data set. It will give the below table. So the item set is we taken is ABC, BCD, ACD, and ABD. ABC occurred 2 times, so given here. We'll check A, B, C. Yeah, 2 times in T8 and T9. Yeah, BCD occurred only 1 time. ACD and ABD didn't occur even once. So it values are 0. After comparing it with minimum count value given in the question, that is 2, minimum support value is 2. So we will remove all the values less than 2. So 1, 0, 0, these values are less than 2. So by after removing this, we will get only A, B, C as set. So it is given here. L3 will have only one combination, that is A, B, C. The last step is finding the association rules for the subset. To generate the association rules, first we'll create a new table with the possible rules from the occurred combination ABC. For all rules, we will be calculating the confidence using the support vector of AB by A, support vector of A. After calculating the confidence values for all rules, we will exclude the rules that have less confidence than minimum threshold. Minimum threshold value as given in the question is 50%. Yeah, these are the formulas of support and the confidence confidence values. Support is the frequency of A B by N, and the confidence is frequency of A B by frequency of A. These formulas for only A tends to B. That is, for that rule, these formulas apply. So accordingly, we'll set a table below. For this, we will find, so first rule is A, B tends to C. And given support vector value is 2. As we have discussed before, the confidence formula is frequency of A, B by A. This for only A tends to B rule. Now, as here A, B, C. So the formula is support vector of A, B, C by support vector of A, B. Support vector of A, B, C means what occurrences ABC occurred. What are the values ABC occurred? ABC occurred in only 2 times, in T8 and T9. So we'll be fixing that value for ABC 2, and AB occurred. How many times AB occurred in the given data set? AB occurred in T1, 1, and T4, T8, T9, 4 times. As it occurred 4 times, we'll be calculating 2 by 4. We'll get 50% as the confidence interval. So same as the BCA. So as I said, this value is fixed for ABC. It occurred only 2 times. It is fixed for all values. Support vector of BC. BC occurred 4 times. So same as AC occurred 4 times. C occurred 5 times. A occurred 6 times. B occurred 7 times. So by calculating, we'll get first 3 values as 50% and last 3 values as 40%, 33%, 28%. So as I have said before, the minimum confidence interval given in the question is 50%. So by comparing these values, that 50% value with our values, the first 3 rules, which is AB tends to C, BC tends to A, AC tends to B. This can be considered as the strong association rules for the given problem. So we fixed the strong association rules by calculating the confidence interval value and comparing it with the given confidence interval, minimum confidence interval. Now we'll be discussing about advantages and disadvantages of our a priori algorithm. So this is easy to understand algorithm, so everyone can understand this easily. The join and prone steps of the algorithm can be easily implemented on large data sets. So they can be implemented on large data sets. And the disadvantages of our a priori algorithm is the algorithm works slow compared to other algorithms. So as this is the large process, by calculating these values, this algorithm becomes slow while running, while compared to other algorithms. The overall performance can be reduced as it scans the database for multiple times. The overall performance here, it can be reduced as it scans the database for the multiple times. Yeah, so for each individual value, it scans the database for multiple times. And the last disadvantage is time. The time complexity and the space complexity of the a priori algorithm is eta of 2 power d, which is very high. The d here represents the horizontal width present in the database. So this is the flowchart of our a priori algorithm as I've shown here. Starting of the process, it will read each item in the transaction. The support, as I said before, the support is calculated. If the support is greater than or equal to minimum support, then it will proceed to insert to frequent item set. If it is less than, it will remove that item. After that, inserting to frequent item set, it will find the confidence value, same as the support value here. So after finding this, if the confidence also is greater than or equal to minimum confidence interval, which will be given in the question, these minimum confidence and minimum support will be given in the question. After this comparing, if it is greater than, it will insert to strong rules, and if it is less than, it will remove subset. So as I have said here example 4, as it is greater than, so it consider it as strong association rule. Yeah, so now I'll be showing this a priori algorithm in the RapidMiner software. Yeah, so This is my data set which I have took from Kaggle. This is the market basket analysis data set. So this is the data set, and now we will go to design. We'll be running this using first we'll be running this using W a priori. So for that we need to search for VK extension. If it is not there, as I have installed it previously, it is coming here. If it is not there here, you can go to here you can go to marketplace and you can install it. So I'll be first running through a priori. Yeah. I'll be running through a priori. When I click run, yeah, you can see here error is occurring because it is not accepting the numeric attribute. So we have to convert numerical to binomial conversion. We have to do here. So we will do numerical to binomial conversion. So with this we can get the values. Yeah. Now we can run this. So it is showing that here, if a person buys coffee and cornflakes, it is not true that he always buys bread. As it is showing false here, it is not true. When a person buys coke and coffee, when a person buys coffee, he will also buy coffee. So it is showing true. By these values, we can decide that what person is going to buy also. What person is bought and what he is going to buy. With the probabilities, we can see these values. So here the minimum support value is 0.1, and here we can get all these values. Minimum metric is 0.9. Number of cycles performed is 18. So now I'll be running through the predictive a priori. We search here predictive a priori. Yeah. When I run here, it is showing. It will also be showing the accuracy values. Previously, it didn't show. So you can see here, the first accuracy value is 0.84. Going on, it is decreasing the value. So the last accuracy is 0.9. So these accuracy values is decreasing. So it is not much efficient to perform in this algorithm. So now I'll be yeah. Again, I need to show. Previously, it showed the all the values minimum support value here, but it is not showing this. Only it is showing the accuracy value and the false value. So it is not much efficient when compared to a priori. Now I'll be running through FP support. FP growth. Yeah. FP growth and association rule. With this, will be I'll be running my a priori algorithm. So as the FP growth accepts the only binomial input, so I'll be connecting this first here, and then the output of the FP growth to be connected with the association rule. Then it will give the final result. If we cannot input, then it will not give the result. It will give the error here. So when I run this, yeah. It is showing the Milk and Maggie. For Milk and Maggie, it is showing support and confidence, Laplace, gain, PS, lift, and conviction values. It is showing these values, and it is giving here confidence value as 80%. So I'll be showing you the graph. You will be understanding clearly. So here it is showing that if a person buy milk, then it is there is 80% probability that he will also buy bread. Same as here, if a person buy Maggie and there is 80% probability that he will also buy tea. So from this, it is clear that persons who are buying milk, there is 80% probability. He will also buy bread. The 80% is the confidence interval value, and 20% is the support vector value. So with this, we can so these the association rules here. Milk tends to bread. The confidence is 80%. So the probability is high. So he will buy. True. Here also the Maggie to tea, the confidence is 80%. It is also high. As we have said, the minimum confidence. So also I'll show you here. For association rule, the we set the minimum confidence interval as a 0 0.8, that is 80%. So while comparing this with our results, I will show you the result. For SP growth also, these are the default values. With the default values only, I have got this output. Yeah. So as we have took the 80%, it is these are the strong values. So it is true. Mm. So with this, I'll conclude my digital assignment too. Yeah. Thank you.